What is going on, everybody? Happy holidays. Welcome to the Year-End Series Awards. This is one of the big ones. This is one of the ones that people wait all year for. That's right. This is the Music Album of the Year Awards. And this year we got honorable mention first, and then we got the top 5 right down to that number 1 spot. We got an exciting one this year. So just like the Video Game Awards, I track this all the way from the beginning of January, listening to all the releases of every genre, both major label, indie, small band, big band, pop, rock, rap, country, metal. And this year was a really, really big mix of everything. But this year we saw and heard some great music, some great albums by some amazing bands. This was a tough year because I had to sit down and I had to say, wait, I got to put my thinking cap on. Who really stood out to me personally in these awards, because it was a tough fight, just like it's going to be in the Video Game Awards this year. It was with music. Sometimes it's clear, cut, and dry. Sometimes I don't even have to think about it. Genre aside, if it's a good album, it's a good album, no matter what kind of music it is. Now, it's interesting the way the top 5 fell through, and you'll see what I mean by that. But we do have a couple here for honorable mention. Now, there's so many more great albums that I could have put in these lists, but I didn't want to be here all day listing albums. But there was such a great mix and such a great variety. There really was some surprises. I could have did a top 10, albums that surprised me list. And I was shocked by what I heard. But this is going to be a shortened down list, and I tried to do that this year with a lot of things, including the Game Awards. So hopefully this makes it a little bit easier on everyone. Let's get right into the honorable mentions. Clutch. Clutch's new album. Also, The Weeknd and Taylor Swift. That's what didn't quite make my list, but was right there on the edge. So as you can see, we have quite a mix there of variety. Now, coming in at number 5 of the Music Awards Music Album of the Year. Again, at the top 5 spot is Korn. That it was neck and neck with 4. Korn was really, really one of my favorites of the year. Now, Requiem, I have here with a star next to it. One of the continuous albums I went to throughout 2022. Because it came out early in 2022. Requiem was a really, really amazing, punchy album. It had that classical Korn sound with some new elements mixed in, which is always good, keeps it fresh, but also brings back their fans and fan base. Korn is always doing it. Whenever there's a Korn album, that's always a good time. Because when Korn puts out an album, you know it's going to be something special. And I really thought that Korn did an excellent job this year. There was at one point I felt that this would be my album of the year, only because at the time it was the only thing I really had listened to, but I had constantly kept going back to it. So, yeah, I mean, it's still to me an amazing album, and to make the top 5 out of everything that I've heard this year, that's really saying something. So, 100% Korn just killed it this year with their album. And coming in at the number 4 spot is Ozzy with Patient Number 9. What a great album. Amazing vocals by the Ozman. He continues and continues in his long, inspiring career as both Ozzy and Black Sabbath. Just a phenomenal person, a phenomenal artist. There'll never be another Ozzy. Patient Number 9, wow. An incredible journey throughout the entire album. I loved Ordinary Man. And this, I believe, was a great follow-up to that. I think I like this one even better. Fantastic album. Again, could have been my number 1 of the year. Easily. And coming in at number 3 is Slipknot. With The End So Far. Now, you want to talk about variety, you want to talk about punch, like with an opening track like Adderall. But then you had like the heavy hitting classic tracks. But then you had the melodic vocal tracks that really showcased the band, where you would only hear really Corey on these tracks. Like, I mean, you've had Slipknot songs like this before, but mostly kind of like on Stone Sour tracks. But you got this all on a Slipknot album, and it was just like amazing variety, but it all somehow came together while listening to this as one piece. And that's what I really like about The End So Far, where it all comes together and it really sounded like good. It sounded good. I put a star next to this because, again, this could have definitely been one of my albums of the year. And I think, man, this is definitely one of my favorite albums of the year. I mean, it's my top 5, but, man, coming in at number 3, man, Slipknot, you just killed it. And I can't wait to hear a lot of these songs live. Great album. And coming in at that number 2 spot is Lamb of God with Omens. Now, there was a long debate with me in the winter if this was going to be the top spot, because for the longest time it was, and I was ready to record this with Lamb of God being the winner of the year. Omens is an amazing killer album. I hear so much in Omens that reminds me back to the day when, see, I was a listener to Lamb of God before they were famous, before they were popular. I was listening to them when they were Burn the Priest, when they were a local Virginia band. I remember bringing New American Gospel to my college class, and I remember them listening to it, and they were like, what is this? Like, they would listen to Black Label, and they would be like, oh my God. And then, of course, as the Palaces Burn, when Ruin came out, I was the biggest Lamb of God fan. I don't know how many times I met Randy, how many times I saw them live. I'm huge Lamb of God. I hear so much on this album from the tones of like New American Gospel, As the Palaces Burn, even Ashes of the Wake. I hear that classic, energy in Randy's voice, that classic screaming on Omens, with a lot of like the newer stuff all mixed into one, and then you just got the pack punchy tracks like Ditch. This is just a killer fucking album. Omens for the freaking win. And my winner of album of the year, hands down, for 2022 is Divisive from Disturbed. Wow. That album just blew me away. I kept coming back to this album. I kept coming back and back and back. I've never heard David's voice so perfect. It had tones and vibes of like The Sickness. But some of Believe on there. You had Ann Wilson from Heart on there, which blew me away. You had killer cover songs. You had fantastic musicianship. And his vocal range just went out the roof. Catchy songs, heavy songs, melodic songs. The best of the best. And that's why Disturbed wins Music Album of the Year with Divisive. I think that album is just fantastic. Amazing cover artwork. Wow. Thank you guys for joining me on the Music Album of the Year. Another year-end series in the books. Get ready for the big one, guys. The Game Awards. It's coming soon. Woo! Love you guys. Take care. What was your favorite album of the year? What have you guys been bumping? Let me know in the comments below.